Why do seagulls fly over the sea? Because if they flew over the bay they'd be bagels. r/AskReddit. What's a joke that's so stupid it's funny? I know a really stupid knock knock joke, I just need someone else to start it for me. Knock knock. Who's there? I bought the world's worst thesaurus today. Not only was it terrible, but it was also terrible. A drummer's wife had quadruplets. He wanted to name each one Anna. She asked how they will tell them apart. He replied Anna 1 Anna 2. I told my mum that when I'm older I was going to build a car out of spaghetti. You should have seen her face when I drove past her. Being told I was deaf was really hard to hear. Steak jokes are a rare medium well done. Edit. Everyone is telling me the midget joke. A psychic dwarf was committed for murder. After a few days in prison he broke out. He was a small medium at large. What do you get when you combine a dyslexic, an insomniac and an agnostic? Someone who lies awake at night wondering if there's a dog. A guy walks into a bar and shouts, "Hey, it's me." Everyone turns around. Turns out it wasn't him. Why does Waldo wear stripes? Because he doesn't want to be spotted. A girl I work with absolutely loves this one. What's green and has wheels? Grass. I lied about the wheels. If you leave grapes out in the sun they'll shrivel up and dry. Just raise an awareness. A guy walks into a bar and yells, "All lawyers are assholes." A guy in the back stands up and says, "Hey, I take offense to that. What are you, a lawyer?" He said, "No, I'm an asshole." Did you know the original French fries weren't fried in France? They were fried in Greece. What's the difference between a dirty bus stop and a lobster with breast implants? One's a crusty bus station, the other is a busty crustacean. A physicist, engineer and a statistician are out hunting. Suddenly a deer appears 50 yards away. The physicist does some basic ballistic calculations assuming a vacuum, lifts his rifle to a specific angle and shoots. The bullet lands 5 yards short. The engineer adds a fudge factor for air resistance, lifts his rifle slightly higher and shoots. The bullet lands 5 yards long. The statistician yells, "We got him." Why did Edward Woodward have so many D's in his name? Why? Because without them he'd have been called Ewa Woowa. Hey, guess what? What? Good guess. What do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator. What do you call a magic dog? A labracadabra. Do any of you have experience making Moroccan rolls? I found a recipe in a magazine but I wasn't sure about it because the recipe calls for thyme and a bunch of other spices. I had them all, but unfortunately they were all expired. I decided to make them anyways, took them to a party and they ended up all being eaten. Everyone thought they were delicious. I guess what they say is true. People love that old time Moroccan roll. I have many jokes about unemployed people. Sadly none of them work. Two hunters are out in the woods when one of them collapses. He doesn't seem to be breathing and his eyes are glazed. The other guy whips out his phone and calls the emergency services. He gasps, "My friend is dead. What can I do?" The operator says, "Calm down, I can help. First let's make sure he's dead." There is a silence, then a shot is heard. Back on the phone, the guy says, "Okay, now what?" "You can't run through a campsite. You can only ran because it's past tense." What's a pirate's favorite letter? Wait for them to say R. Yeah, you'd think so, but me first love be the C. What's a pirate's least favorite letter? Dear sir, your internet access has been terminated due to illegal usage. Sincerely, your service provider. A plateau is the highest form of flattery. Guy walks up to the widow at her husband's funeral and says, "May I say just one word?" "Sure," she replies. "Plethora." The widow says, "Thanks. That means a lot." A man walked into a zoo. There was one dog. It was a Shih Tzu. What's the best thing about Switzerland? Well, the flag's a big plus.